It's Pat Badger right here on your Classic Metal Show with Lie Behind My Eyes. Does that ring any bells, Mr. Aiken?
Should it?
Oh, I was just wondering.
Pain Behind My Eyes, the unit tune?
In light of the new book and everything, Lie Behind My Eyes.
Nah, come on. There's no lies in that book.
Nah, I'm not saying the book. I'm just saying prior to the book.
No comments.
Living a lie, feeling like a fool.
I have nothing to say bad.
Well, it doesn't have to be bad. It just needs to be truthful.
Well, it's definitely truthful.
Well, by the way, how long is this little thing that I'm writing can be? I'm up to 4 paragraphs now.
As long as you want, man. It's going on the website.
Oh, it's 4 paragraphs so far.
Yeah, it's promotional for the website.
Yeah. It's 4 paragraphs.
That's cool. I mean, Drake wrote a book.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, if you look on the website at Drake's thing, he wrote this whole thing. Starts off with some line like Chris Aiken is definitely an asshole.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm going to have to look, see how many words he used, because I'm not going to let him outword me.
Of course not.
Screw you, pal.
But you actually got your picture on the site too.
Really?
Yeah, on the Core 9 page, I think.
Yeah. Well, I've got 4 paragraphs here. I'm going to shoot it over to you here shortly because I got to finish the last sentence.
Right.
Trying to make the defining sentence, put the stamp on this damn thing.
It should say something about godlike.
Godlike?
Yeah.
No, I think I've recapped a little bit of history in 4 paragraphs.
All right, cool.
So I think I'm down to the last sentence, but I'm like at the, how do I finish this thing off?
Dude, let me just tell you, doing the website was way more difficult than writing the book. Just writing a bunch of shit and trying to say like all positive stuff about yourself. That is like difficult, man. You just feel goofy, writing.
Yeah, well, nobody likes to talk about them. I don't like to talk about me.
Yeah, I mean, and just the whole thing is all promotional and up, and this is the story of rock critic and shock jock Chris Aiken and blah 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 blah. It's like,
shock jock? I thought you guys were just tell it like it is.
Yeah, I saw that too. I mean, come on, dude. Is shock jock a bad word?
No, I think that it got a bad stigma back in the late 90s and early 2000s. Because everybody was a shock jock. Imus was a shock jock. Howard Stern was a shock jock. Opie and Anthony were shock jocks.
See, I don't see Imus as a shock jock. Do you?
Well, he's old, dude. But he did. I don't know if you remember, but being that you've lived in Cleveland pretty much all your life.
Yeah.
Do you remember Imus had the show in Cleveland?
Yeah, it was on TAM, or it was on AM. I remember I used to listen to it.
Yeah. Well, no, he actually had a TV show.
I don't remember the TV show, no.
Yeah. And I remember, and the other guy that died, the big mouth guy.
Morton Downey Jr.
Morton Downey Jr. He was a shock jock. He was a shocking guy. He would say crazy stuff and get people riled up and whatever. Mm-hmm. But I think I can kind of get what Chipper is saying. Because we don't. At least me, I can only speak for myself. I don't say things that are just shocking. I just say things that are just truthful in my eyes.
So I do that too, but my truth is generally shocking to
most
people.
Perhaps, but it isn't. And the only thing that I can compare to shock jockery, if you will, is that little segment that Wheezy put together for us when we were going to bring Mikey on a few weeks back, and you started in with the whole sex thing.
You don't think that blowjobs are part of your job as shock jockery?
Not really. I don't even think that's so shocking as it is. It's absurd.
Well, yeah, but it's honest.
Yeah, well, perhaps it's honest, but when I think of shocking, I think of the stuff that you said because of the sensitive subject material with people that you know.
Sure.
And you're really talking about, don't you think that this guy knew that he blew a load in his mom and all that kind of stuff? I mean, that's just kind of...
Yeah, that was a little raw.
Yeah, so that's shock jockery, if you will.
Right.
What we did, what was it, last week, where we talked about Benedictum's electronic press kit. That was just being honest. That wasn't being shocking. That was just saying, this is not so good.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's kind of what we've always tried to do, is just do an honest show. And even if it's silly, it's just spit out what we're saying. Spit out whatever we're thinking. And, if people are shocked by it, then so be it.
Yeah, but I think it's only shocking because, for some people, that is, because they're not used to the truth, or they don't want to speak the blatant honesty about stuff.
Or they don't want to admit that there are more people like us that actually think that way.
Right.
That's really what I think shocks people, is that not that we say it, but that they have to face the fact that there's a lot of people that think the same way.
Right.
Because most people would never admit to that.
Right, exactly.
But whether people agree or disagree with the whole blowjob thing that we did earlier, there's a lot of people that agree.
But they would never vocalize it because it's just like it's improper, or it's not the right place, or...
Right. They would never vocalize it. And I'm sure there's probably some that are listening and their wife hears that and is like, do you think that? Is that what you think my job is? And they're like, oh, no, honey. I mean, well, they're thinking, fuck yeah, that's what your job is, you bitch. That's it. That's it in a nutshell. Being shocking is nothing more than hitting a nerve that most people won't say, crossing their proverbial line.
Right. Well, I did take some flack for something that you said a few weeks back.
When?
About getting through the bullshit of foreplay.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, the bullshit of foreplay.
It is bullshit.
Well, see, again... But see, you did it in such a way that you called it bullshit, but at the same time you described it as something you enjoyed.
I do enjoy it. I do enjoy it tremendously, but it's bullshit. I mean, you can't just go straight for the puss. You gotta fucking, you gotta play the game a little bit. It's bullshit,
right? So,
but wait a minute. How could you have taken shit for that? You were all over me about that.
I was, but it's just because it becomes the content of the show. It's just like, why do you guys got to go there with that?
And do I even need to guess who?
Well, no, you don't need to guess.
I know who.
Yes.
All right.
But regardless, I mean that's an opinion, nevertheless, but. It's just like, why do you guys got to go down that road?
Because that's the show we do.
Well, I understand. I get it. It's just like, well, it's not really we go down that road because that's all. And it goes back to what we were saying early when I was talking about writing my little forward to your book or your website or whatever you want to call it, about, all this is about tits and ass, tits and ass, tits and ass.
Yeah.
And it's not.
It's really not. I mean, it's more prevalent than it probably used to be, but it's only more prevalent because I'm actually out there chasing it.
But the point is it's not because that's so prevalent. It's because that's the only thing you remember.
Well, I just think that, the show is a lot more real world than it ever used to be. I mean, it used to be, we would talk about fucking bands and, this band and that band. And we had enough experiences where we could talk about that stuff and, and enough ideas to talk about that. But now that it's turned into our real world, well, that's kind of my real world right now, is chasing chicks.
Right.
And let's just say 2 years from now, I find the perfect chick and I get into like some serious thing and whatever. More than likely we won't be talking about chasing pussy.
Right. Well, it's just what's here and now.
Yeah. Well, that's what we're trying to do, is a real show.
Right.
We're not trying to make up some bullshit. We're not trying to be Rover or any of that fucking terrible shit. Well, I got this friend, and
Rover is more. Is he still on?
Spoon. It's like,
he's
still on?
Really? Rover's Morning Glory still on, huh?
It's #1 in the city.
Are you kidding me?
I can't fathom it, but it's always one or two. It goes back and forth between him and Lanigan.
Oh, Lanigan is still on?
Lanigan is still...
How old is that guy? Is he 100 years old now?
Gotta be 80.
Oh, my God. Really?
Dude, I used to watch that guy doing the Prize movie.
Yeah, that was back in the 70s.
Yeah, that was in the 70s, and he was probably 40 then. 30 anyway. He was old.
Lanigan in the Morning.
That show's terrible.
Oh my God, it was terrible when my former girlfriend used to listen to it. I used to listen to Howard Stern, and she used to listen to Lanigan.
Ooh, so you didn't want to drive together ever?
No, she says, "Oh, Lanigan's so funny." It's like, no, he's not.
Is he? Do you want to tell me again about Mr. Leonard?
Yeah, it says I can't listen to Howard Stern. He's just so gross, and he's like,
Yeah, shut up. Make sure you got enough gas in your car. 'Cause I'm not driving you.
Yeah. Oh, Lanigan, so funny.
Yeah, he's so funny.
Yeah,
what has Lanigan ever done that's funny?
Nothing. I mean, some of their bits were just so awful that you could actually hear them reading off the page. I mean, it's just terrible.
I can't even remember any of their bits. Was Mr. Leonard Lanigan?
Oh, I don't. You know, I'm just saying that they would try to do these funny bits, but it was clear that his sidekicks were reading off a script. Just so terrible. And that's, and we're talking early 90s here.
Right.
I'm thinking that was 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And they were reading off a script then, and Howard Stern was just fairly new in Cleveland at that time.
Right. Okay.
And Howard was just doing what we do now.
Mm-hmm, sure.
They were just freeform, and they talked about what came on their mind.
Yeah.
They didn't sit there and read off a script and, well, you say this, and then I'll say this, and then we'll really laugh and throw the laugh track in, and just terrible.
Yeah, it really is not good radio. And now that they're old men too, ooh.
Is it the same group?
It's him and Malone still.
Really? 20 years later.
Jimmy Malone is still on that show.
Wow.
With Cross-eyed Lanigan.
Really?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
It's scary bad that people still listen to this shit.
And they're still on WNCX?
No, they're on, what's the oldies channel? 105.7. I have no idea what the call letters are.
Okay.
MJI.
Okay, WMJI. Magic.
Yeah. Magic 105.
Right.
Yeah. Not really good.
Okay. All right. Well, whatever. To each their own.
Someone's listening, just not me.
Apparently. Wow. Well, that's surprising to me to understand that they're still on.
Well, you know what though, dude? If you look at the Cleveland market, the fucking market is shitty.
Apparently.
I mean, think you got Lanigan, you got Rover. 92.3 has that's sports now, so that doesn't count.
Mm-hmm.
WTAM has what is it, Wills and Snyder or whatever, but they just read news, and do the occasional 3-minute interview with a CD. Remember we talked about those interviews,
right?
98. I think my buddy Slats is on 98, but he's just playing music. Playing music and talking for 3 minutes at a hit.
I say I would be so bored with that.
I couldn't do it.
There, because it's been suggested. Why don't you, check out commercial radio? Why don't you go be a DJ? It's like that's so boring.
It's 8:42 here this morning, 74 degrees and sunny.
So bad.
I
would be so bored with that.
Hey, you know what? That was the Human League. And let me just tell you, back in 1983, when I was about 20 years old, the Human League was a popular band.
Right.
Let's tell you, Don't You Want Me? It's been 18 weeks at #1 and before getting knocked off by Joan Jett and the Blackhearts. And speaking of Joan Jett, here she is now with I Love Rock and Roll right here on your home of rock and roll, The Buzzard.
Terrible.
Fucking shit.
Terrible.
That.
I don't know.
The only reason I would do that is if I was desperate for a check. If I was desperate
well,
for
what kind of a check are you going to get? They only pay those people minimum wage.
Like I said, desperate for a check.
That's minimum wage to host of 3 or 4 hours. We're talking, what is it, minimum wage? Almost $8?
Yeah, like $8, so $32 a day.
$32 a day.
Like if it was that or zero, I'd probably do it. But if I could make my living talking, if I can make $32 talking or $32 digging a ditch, I'll fucking talk.
Yeah. Well, here in Chicago, some of the biggest radio stations, they don't even have any DJs anymore.
Oh yeah.
Everything is automated. They got rid of all the quote unquote the name DJs over here.
Oh, I don't doubt that.
I don't. We've talked about her before, but do you remember Erin Carmen at all? She used to be on WONE.
Yeah,
years ago. Well, when she got booted from WONE, she went to WENZ in Cleveland. Remember the End or whatever?
Yeah, the End, right?
Yeah, she was there for a short time. Then she joined Detroit. I can't remember if it was the Riff or something like that, but there was
ROB.
I don't remember, but I don't. But she was part of a show called Gonzo Greg in the Morning.
Ugh, that's
Gonzo Greg.
Dude, you get offered a gig like that, don't you just look at the name and go, nah?
Well, she was like his sidekick, She was his co-host.
She was cool.
Yeah. And then she went to Washington, D.C. 101 or something like that.
Well, that's at least a big station.
Yeah, she was on there for a short time, but she was like one of the crew of something or other.
Okay.
And then she was here in Chicago for a while. She was part of Mancow's crew.
Oh, wow. So she's done some big stuff.
Yeah, she was in Mancow's pack for a while, and then she went out to L.A. for a while, and she was out there trying to develop like a TV show to where you convert your garage into like a, something other than a garage.
Shit.
Monster garage or something. I don't know.
Nice.
And that didn't go anywhere. And then she came back here to the Chicago market, and she was doing the afternoons.
Right.
Well, I think it was, I can't remember who, Cumulus, or I don't remember, it was Clear Channel. I think Cumulus owned a lot of the channels here in Chicago, and they cut all of the main disc jockey staff.
Jeez.
So she got booted.
So what do they do? Just jack radio or just play songs?
Yeah, that's it. They just do commercials and songs.
Little bumpers in between?
Pretty much.
That was funny.
That was it.
Yeah, we've got one of those stations
here.
Yeah,
even on the biggest rock station in Chicago, they don't even have any hosts at all. It's The Loop, WLUP.
The Loop doesn't have DJs
They
anymore?
have no DJs.
See, I remember when I was at 92.3, our station program director was Kim Monroe, and Kim was also an air personality in Seattle.
Right, because she would do her pre-tape and send it in.
Yeah, she would record up 5 days worth of shows on Monday. She would come in the first half of her day, she would lock herself in the production studio and record 5 days worth of shows in 4 hours.
How boring is that?
Fuck that. I mean, who cares? At that point, I mean, that's just fucking shit. But, that is what radio is today. Yeah. I don't want to be in commercial radio at all.
Well, they had a guy here, and he's on, I think he's on The Drive now, which, is kind of a cool station. I don't listen to commercial radio, but if I tuned in, I would tune into The Drive because at least they didn't play the same 40 rock songs over and over again. They did mix it up a little bit, but there was one guy after they booted everybody off the stations here. There were like 3 stations. They let go some of the biggest, most prominent names. And I think they let go Jonathan Brandmeier. I don't know if that name rings a bell at all, but
I've heard of him. Yeah.
He'd been around for like 30, 40 years, and Erin Carmen got booted, and a bunch of people got booted because they're
Lee Stone.
Yeah, Lee Stone. I wonder what happened to her because of the salaries,
Right.
And they can't afford it anymore, so they booted all these people off, and they had this one guy. He called. I hate these stupid radio names, but he called himself Bird. Bird.
Oh.
Well, this guy was on 24 hours a day.
Bird?
Yeah. Because he recorded he recorded 16 hours or 20 hours worth of spots or breaks or whatever you want to call it. and then he was on for 4 hours. So he was the only disc jockey they had on the whole station all day long was Bird. Hey, this is Bird. Listen to WLUP. It's Bird. You know. And now he's over at another station because they let him go too.
Is he still Bird?
Oh yeah, he's still Bird.
Oh, he got to keep Bird. Huh?
Oh yeah,
lucky him.
Yeah, look him up on the interweb there.
What? Look up Bird?
Yeah, Bird on Chicago radio or something. Just look up Bird.
Let's see if this guy looks like a bird too.
He's a skinny guy, kind of long hair. You know, just your typical burnout DJ looking guy.
WXRT,
something like that.
Let's see. Where you at, Bird? Photos on air. Let's try on air. See if Bird's on the air right now. Where's the staff? Access staff bio. Boy, this website sucks a dick too. Jesus Christ.
There's no money, dude. Everybody's got no money.
Yeah, but man, this site is terrible. You got Lynn Bremer, Mary Dixon, Terry Hemmert. Wow. Every one of these guys looks terrible.
Right.
Frank Lee, Jason Thomas. Where's Bird? I don't see a Bird here. No Bird. Maybe he got fired. Nope, no Bird there. Anyway, Bird. Dude, I've told this story before, haven't I, about how they wanted me to be the gatekeeper on MMS?
Well, do you want to hear the Bird meter?
Yeah, let's hear the Bird meter.
All right.
Hello, everybody here. This is a Galaxy DX94 HP driving. Notice the mic gain is all the way off. This radio is working.
I don't even know what the hell that is.
The fuck was that?
Some guy teaching you how to use a CB radio or something. So stupid. But anyway, go ahead. You were saying?
No, when I was at MMS, they wanted me to. When I first came to MMS and joined the show, they were disgusted that I was using my regular name.
Right.
And they didn't want me to use my real name anymore. So Matt one day came to me and goes, "What do you think about being the gatekeeper?" And I was like, "Being the gatekeeper of what?" He's like, "No, that'll be your name on the show." I was like, "Dude, my name is Chris fucking Aiken." That's it. It's not going to be the gatekeeper or the ghoul or any of that fucking dumb nonsense. I will not do it. And so that's why we always had an awkward show because it was the Warlock and Chris Aiken.
Right.
You know, I was not playing that game. You know, I was not going to be the gatekeeper. Fuck off. You know, can you imagine going out to a fucking event? Hey, it's me, the gatekeeper. How you doing? I'm keeping the gate open so that you guys can come out here and see Slipknot.
Right.
Shut the fuck up. You know, fucking terrible. Yeah, they wanted me to be the gatekeeper.
Nice.
Metal Demon, I want to hear more about Chris's mandatory blowjobs bill he's introducing to the Senate.
Oh, it's BYRD.
BYRD. Oh, BYRD?
BYRD.
Let's look up BYRD. BYRD, commercial or Chicago radio. Bird on Facebook. Oh, the loop parts ways with the bird. Oh,
didn't I tell you that?
Yeah. Too bad. Oh, look at this guy. Good Lord. Bird is the word. Jesus.
How stupid.
What's even worse is he's on the radio and he has less likes than I do friends on my personal page. What a fucking... His name should be Turd. And fuck, how do you have 853 likes and you're on the radio?
I don't know.
Our fucking dumb internet radio site has, what, 3 times that? 4 times that?
Easily.
And we have like 2,800 or 2,700 or something.
WDRV, The Drive in Chicago.
DRV.
Yeah, The Drive.
Because we plan
Remember
on
this
rocking.
moment, because what you know about wireless speakers is about
tonight on The Drive.
Right.
And look, he's playing all the stuff that you never hear on the radio. AC/DC, Van Halen, Guns N' Roses, Led Zeppelin.
Right.
He's proud of that, Rush.
What did I tell you, dude? It's terrible.
Commercial radio is like a new level of shit.
Look, we're playing Sweet Child of Mine. Can you believe it?
Yeah. I just can't believe he's literally got it here, because we plan on rocking. Crank it up with me 7 to 11 p.m. tonight, live on Chicago's Classic 97.1 The Drive.
Right.
WDRB.
Right.
But then what?
Right.
No, and then he has tags for all the stuff he's going to play. AC/DC, Van Halen, Guns N' Roses, Led Zeppelin, Sammy Hagar, The Doors, Stone Temple Pilots, Aerosmith, Rush, Poison, and more. That literally is every fucking classic rock station in the country.
Right.
That's their whole playlist. He missed Pink Floyd.
That's my point, though. How boring is that?
It's fucking terrible.
I like this. The Drive's weekend changes. Carla Leonardo temporarily out. Bird is in.
The Bird is in.
Yeah.
Wow.
WDRV, also known as The Drive, has had to make a change in its weekend lineup, at least temporarily. Carla Leonardo is taking a personal leave of absence from the station to deal with a health issue. In her place, The Drive has picked up former WLUP-FM mainstay, Bird.
Bird is back on the radio.
So Bird is in.
Apparently no one gives a fuck. 800 likes. That's fucking pathetic. I'm not even one that buys into all this horse shit, but man, oh man.
Bird.
800 and you're on the air every fucking day? That's pretty poor, man.
John Bird Kempf has been a fan of Chicago radio since he was a child. The Bird nickname was given to him as a young boy before he even started in radio.
That's because he's got a beak like a fucking toucan.
Like a toucan.
Toucan Sam, just paint some colors on that bitch.
Sure.
Oh, look at this. Check out the collection of 13 howlin' good new tunes from Paul McCartney, Deep Purple, Sammy Hagar, Pearl Jam, Black Sabbath, Joan Jett, Motley Crue, Elton John, and Motorhead.
Nice.
Wow. The Bird, I can't wait to tune into this fucking asshole.
I met the Bird once.
Did you?
Yeah, he was at Iron Maiden. He was doing a live remote.
Were you blown away?
No.
No?
No.
Look, here's another day that he's going to be on. He's going to be playing Kiss, Rolling Stones, AC/DC, Cheap Trick, Led Zeppelin, Nirvana, Def Leppard, Eagles, Triumph, and Pink Floyd.
Can't believe it. They're digging into the vaults.
They're going deep.
They're
Trick, Pink Floyd, Led Zeppelin.
They're going into the deep tracks.
Eagles, Def Leppard.
Holy smokes, really?
Fuck. See, now it's like my mission to... every day I want to see what he's playing. This one even calls deep tracks. Deep tracks from The Who, Montrose, Foreigner, Alice Cooper, Triumph, Billy Thorpe. All right, Billy Thorpe's a good one. Although I guarantee it's Children of the Sun.
Of course. It's the only one you know, isn't it?
Yeah, there's no way did he go deeper than that. Led Zeppelin again. Satriani, Ted Nugent, and Jimi Hendrix. And fistfuls more, spelled wrong. Fistfulls. Fistfuls. I love this guy. Oh, here we go. Epic Lost and Found tracks you haven't heard in ages from, are you ready for this? Aerosmith, Rolling Stones, Sammy Hagar, Leonard Skinner, and the Beatles.
Oh, wow. Can't believe it.
Holy shit.
It's out of control.
Deep tracks from Zeppelin, Judas Priest, The Who, Deep Purple, Leonard Skinner, Scorpions, Hendrix, Yes, and AC/DC. It's like they just recycle the fucking names. There's like 8 bands he plays. Deep tracks today from AC/DC, Rolling Stones, Nirvana, Bowie, Van Halen, Outlaws, Rush, U2, Aerosmith, and Led Zeppelin.
Way to stretch it out there, Bird.
The Bird is fucking crazy.
Stretch it out.
Wow, look at this one. Deep tracks from ZZ Top, Aerosmith, Led Zeppelin, Van Halen, Who,
Wow.
UFO, Def Leppard, Black Sabbath.
Can you believe it?
Every day, it's the same show.
I know.
Here's another day. Deep tracks from Rolling Stones, Ozzy, Skinner, Guns N' Roses, Cheap Trick, Pat Travers, Bad Company, U2, and Ted Nugent. Every day.
Mm-hmm.
Every day there's at least 5 repeats from every single day.
Well, of course. You can't go outside the playlist.
Here's another day. Rolling Stones, Van Halen, The Who, Rush, Zepp, U2, Hendrix, Deep Purple, Animals, and Thin Lizzy. That bird, man, he's flying high.
Yeah, well, he can only play what the station says he can play.
The bird. Yeah, but if you're gonna do that, don't pretend like you're playing something fucking unique.
Well, you gotta build it up like you're really doing something.
Build what up?
Well, just you got to build up the excitement. Tune in. You're gonna miss it.
We're gonna play a special studio version of Symphony of the Devil today.
Right.
And following that, we are gonna play fucking Us and Them. Can you believe it?
I can't believe it.
Us and Them. Guess what? We're going to play Jamie's Crying. And Welcome to the Jungle.
Hey, next we're going to play Smoke on the Water. When's the last time you heard that?
Oh, my God. Is that Dream On again? God damn.
So bad.
Look, I can't believe. Did you hear that riff? Clearly, it's Rush. Tom Sawyer.
Are they really playing that? Tom Sawyer? It's been so long.
Dude, Sammy Hagar. I can't believe they're playing heavy metal. They never do that.
Mm-hmm. Can't wait till the next time they play Fly By Night.
Yeah. Dude, I can't believe it, but you won't get fooled again. It's The Who.
Man, when are they going to play Paranoid? I've been waiting.
Dude, I can't believe they're going with the extended regular version of War Pigs.
Right. So bad.
Fucking commercial radio sucks. The biggest, fattest fucking cock. It's like a fucking Ethiopian that's starving to death fucking being told they can fucking suck Lexington Steele's cock for fucking food. It's fucking awful, man. So bad. Bird should retire. just now, wouldn't that be good if one day he just came on the air and said, "This fucking job sucks."
Yeah, tired of this stuff.
I'm tired of this. You want to hear Stone Temple Pilots? Fucking listen to the record, which you clearly bought if you're listening to this station. Go fuck yourself. I'm not playing it. Right here on the drive.
Right.
Dick.
Right. I'm out.
I'm out. Just like this fucking music is out of style. Ugh. Dude, I'm literally going all the way down this guy's playlist for months. Here, I'm back to July 13th. Led Zeppelin, Bon Jovi, The Who, Guns N' Roses, Jimi Hendrix, AC/DC, Journey, Pearl Jam, Bad Company, and Aerosmith. That's fucking 5 months ago, and it's the same exact bands.
Yeah. Well, it's the only the 40 bands that they have in the playlist.
But why?
That's the only ones we're playing, so deal with it.
You know what? If I was a classic rock station, and I swear to God, if I was a classic rock station, those would be the bands I wouldn't play.
Right.
Those would be the ones that I would take out of the studio. And I would play all kinds of one-hit wonders. I would play every one-hit wonder from the 60s, 70s, 80s, and just recycle those over and over again. And you would probably have a much more successful station. Just because people aren't bored with the fucking songs. God damn, man. Terrible.
I remember back in, when was it? When was this? About 2000. I want to say it was about 2000.
All right.
At the time, I had a job I had a driving job, and I would listen to WMMS.
Okay.
And I could predict what the next song would be because I got so used to the playlist. I knew what was coming up next.
You know the playlist, and you know the beat pattern or whatever, is that they'll go with the unique or they'll try to be slick with their transfer over or whatever, with their segue. Yeah, I used to do that too.
Pretty bad.
I fucking hate commercial radio. It is so awful.
Right. Which is why we do what we do.
Yeah, dude, can you imagine? You remember last year I was doing demos and stuff, thinking about going back to commercial radio.
Mm-hmm.
And, I would love to do something with me, Billy, and John, but we'd be thrown off the air in 3 months.
Of course you would.
They would never, because, I could do demos and play nice for a while, but I would get sick of that.
Yeah, you're not commercially viable.
I'm not commercially viable. I'm really not. I couldn't do that. And even these fucking shows that are shocking and edgy, like Rover, I can't do live radio. Well, I got this friend, and my friend just happened to be out on a boat, and he fell off, and the fucking engine cut his face off. but he put it back on. I'll take your calls to talk about it. Fucking horrible radio, man.